I'm at the Carinium Museum in Cirencester and I'm joined by actress and author Diz White. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Rowena.
Now, you've just published a wonderful book called The Cotswolds Memoir. Can you give us a little summary of your journey in the book?
Yes, I'd love to. It's called Cotswolds Memoir, Discovering a Beautiful Region of Britain on a Quest to Buy a 17th Century Cottage. And that is the book. My journey of buying a cottage in the Cotswolds turned into such a wonderful, fun adventure with lots of things happening, so much that I kept a journal and realized I had a book here. And so my book is about this roller coaster ride, because on the way to looking for a cottage, I actually explored the Cotswolds. But not just that, in between exploring the Cotswolds, I had to rush back to Hollywood, because I'm an actress, to do any crazy acting job I could to scrape together the money for a deposit. So I've picked out all the funny things that have happened on the way. And I think when you see things through the prism of comedy, it makes it much more fun.
It is such an enjoyable read. I recommend it to everybody. How long have you actually been writing?
A number of years, because I started as a playwright. Then I wrote screenplays, because I divide my time between the Cotswolds and Hollywood. I've got an American husband who's wonderful. He's helped me with the book so much. And I've just started recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, reinventing myself as a writer, because I'm feeling my roots pulling me back to England. And my passion is the Cotswolds, so I've been writing about that quite a bit.
So you've written other books about the Cotswolds as well, then?
Yes, I've written Haunted Cotswolds and Haunted Cheltenham. Both of them are with the History Press. But my book, Cotswolds Memoir, is really the one that's close to my heart and the one that I'm most passionate about.
It is very obvious you're passionate about the Cotswolds from this book, and it is, of course, an area of outstanding natural beauty. Is its conservation also important to you?
Yes, I have decided to donate a portion of the proceeds of my book to conservation institutions in the Cotswolds. I mean, it's so beautiful, but to keep it this beautiful, we need to support those institutions. And I'm very, very happy to do that, and I hope other people get inspired to do that too when they read my book, because I do have conservation information in the back of the book to encourage people to do that if they want to.
Brilliant. Now, you are an actress, as you said, and you spend a lot of time in LA. What sort of roles do you actually play?
I played in Star Trek, in Star Trek Next Generation with Patrick Stewart. There was an episode where they went on the holodeck and they went back to Sherlock Holmes' London. And I play Moriarty's girlfriend. And actually, that leads right into one of my funniest showbiz stories, I think, where what happened was I was filming the episode, and there I was in my long Victorian dress getting put together by the costumer. And suddenly the director wanted me on the set immediately. They'd changed the order of the scenes or something. And I was about half a mile away from the soundstage. So the assistant director said, "Quick, get on one of the studio bikes and get there, otherwise I'll lose my job." Well, I didn't want him to lose his job. So I got on this bike and I went herring along with my skirts flying and got to the soundstage, went to put the brakes on the bike. No brakes. And I'm hurtling towards this soundstage and I'm yelling at people, "Get out of the way, I can't stop." And I slammed into the soundstage, which was made of corrugated iron, and it rang like a bell. And I fell over. Luckily, I had the big Victorian petticoats on, so I didn't hurt myself. And then 2 assistant directors came, picked me up, and tangled up in the bicycle, rushed me in onto the set, dumped me in front of the director, and he said, "Action."
No. No. Oh, my goodness.
So that was a lot of fun.
But you coped. It
went
fine.
To.
The scene went fine.
You have to. I picked myself up and kick the bicycle out of the way and carry on.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Now, you've done a lot of voice work as well, haven't you? How did you get into that?
Well, being an American, having an English accent is quite valuable because, they have lots of English roles. I've done voice work on the Titanic, on some cartoon work like How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I love doing voice work. In fact, one of my favorite voice jobs was doing the voice of Jackie Kennedy. This was for a PBS documentary, which is sort of like the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
And her voice was actually used in it, so I had to copy her voice.
Right.
And
Are you going to do a little bit for us now?
you'd like me to do a
Yes,
little
please.
bit? All right, this is Jackie. It's so important the way in which the presidency is presented to the world. This is a coffee table by Lanier. He's not as good as Duncan Five, but not many people know about it. All the things we did so well, the pictures, the furniture, they're all here in the White House.
How early did you start doing voice work?
Well, actually, I think I started when I was born, because when I was born, the doctor came to my mother and said to her, would she go home early because my voice was so loud it was disturbing all the other babies.
Oh.
True story.
Destined.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I've got cast iron pipes and I never lose my voice.
Brilliant. Well, that's very handy in the acting world, isn't it? You can't lose your voice.
No, not allowed.
Which actually came first, acting or writing?
Acting, and I started writing and producing to give myself a job.
Okay.
As an actress, because I can't sit by the phone. I'm not one of those that can wait for the agent to call.
Mm-hmm.
I initiate, and I formed a comedy troupe and wrote some comedies that then got done in America and done as cable specials, and then one of them became a feature, and it came out on DVD here this year. It's Bullshot, and it was produced by George Harrison, his company then, Handmade Films, and that's been a real crowd pleaser. I did it with Billy Connolly and Mel Smith.
Brilliant. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to have a look at that one.
One time I went back to Hollywood and they offered me a job on the lowest rung of the success ladder, which was entertaining at a children's party.
Oh.
Now, usually, if you're a self-respecting actor, you won't do this kind of work. I mean, I was way above this. But I had to get the down payment. And so I took this job as wearing a bear suit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing more embarrassing than doing that. But it was at a Beverly Hills party, and they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I said, okay, I'll take the job. And there I am in this bear suit, doing the teddy bear's picnic or whatever it was. And I got too hot in it. I was a bit too enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually started to faint, and I sort of sat down on the ground, and the kids panicked. They thought something terrible had happened to me. So the organizer of the event, she said, all right, children, everybody out. And so 50 children ran across my prone body as I'm wearing this bear suit to get out. So I had a few bruises at the end of that.
Oh.
But it was worth it to get my cottage.
You've got your cottage, so
Yes.
all the hard work has paid off.
Yes.
Well, well done for doing that.
So I've written about that in Cotswolds Memoir. What's nice, I think, about the book is it's what I would call a beach read that someone can take on holiday. It's very light,
Yeah.
a lot of fun. There's a story to it. But I also explore the Cotswolds. And an interviewer the other day said to me, well, there's lots of books on the Cotswolds. What makes your book different? And I said, well, because I explore off-the-beaten-track places where a lot of the tourist information doesn't send you. And I had a nice compliment because one reviewer said, I've lived in the Cotswolds for 20 years and there's places and activities in there that I didn't know about. So I'm very pleased about that because I think I've hit the mark with it being new information for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, it's personal, it's charming, factual, and very entertaining. So again, I really do recommend the book.
Thank you, that's so nice.
What's life like in LA? I mean, is it all work over there and then you come to the UK for a holiday, or do you work in both places? How do you split your time between the two?
Well, I work in both places, and life there is very driven. There's a lot of very ambitious people,
Mm-hmm.
and it tends to make them, I mean, I love my home in California and I love the weather, but sometimes it makes the people a little one note. What I love about the Cotswolds is people have time for you. They'll talk to you, and they're well-rounded. They're not just focused on their ambition, and I like that. That makes my roots pull even more. That and Yorkshire pudding.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm addicted to that.
Yes, actually, one point I'd like to mention in the book, you're obsessed with food.
I'm a foodie. You figured it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are. It's amazing. And I do describe lovely places to go and eat in the Cotswolds. And I think that's important for tourists, because abroad a lot of people have got the idea that English cooking is dreadful. And it isn't anymore. Maybe it was once. But some of the food, the cuisine in the Cotswolds is excellent, 100%. And so I do talk about that, because I think I'm so enchanted by the Cotswolds. I'm so in love with it that I feel I want to spread the word. I never forget my first visit, and I stayed in a bed and breakfast on a farm, and the farmer's wife, what she did was, every time that calf was born, she would wake up the guests and have them get up in their pajamas and come down and watch the calf being born.
Aww.
And the first time we did it, the other thing she did was have one of the guests actually name the calf.
Oh.
So she asked my husband to name the calf, and so he called it Betty Davis, because it had big brown eyes.
Oh, how sweet. What's next for you at the moment? Are you currently working on another book, or have you got other projects currently going on?
I'm working on another book. It's what I call a narrative cookbook.
Okay.
It's Cotswolds cooking.
Oh, good. I'm so glad, actually. There's so many recipes in your book. I thought you might as well write a recipe book.
Right, but it's going to be stories about the food.
Okay.
So I think it makes it more interesting. It's not just going to be, how to cook this or that.
Okay.
And it's going to be about food that's indigenous to the Cotswolds, a lot of it organic, because now I have such wonderful farmers markets and organic shops, and not just that, just homegrown, healthy, wonderful, wholesome food. And so I'm going to talk about that and the stories that led to the particular dish that I'm talking about.
And you've also got another sort of venture with DVDs, is that right? Can you tell us a bit about
Yes,
that?
my husband, Randall Montgomery, he and I have a little DVD production company, and we have made several DVDs which are available on Amazon. And so is my book, actually. I should talk about Cotswolds Memoir being available at Waterstones and on amazon.co.uk. And my DVD production company, so far we've done a DVD on Haunted Cotswolds, which was like adapted from my book, and it's called Ghosts of Great Britain Collection, Haunted Cotswolds. And we're now currently working on a travel video DVD of the Cotswolds as well.
Oh,
To show some of these out-of-the-way places, to actually show video of them. But my book, Cotswolds Memoir, does have photographs, so that gives you an idea of where we were and what we were doing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You are doing book signings, aren't you? Can you tell us when they
Yes, I'm doing a whole bunch of book signings, and I love it. I'd love it if viewers would come and meet me. I want to meet you people. Please look on my website, because I've got a list of all the book signings, and my website is www.dizwhite.com.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today about your lovely new book. I highly recommend it. It's so entertaining. Everyone, especially everyone who lives in the Cotswolds, should read it, because they'll feel this personal draw to it. No, thank you very much, and I wish you the very best of luck with the rest of the book tour. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rowena. Thank you very much, Cotswold TV.